Hi everybody, welcome to my channel Arvind Educations. Thanks for watching my videos. For more information, please subscribe my channel Arvind Educations or Arvind Biology Classes. Today I am going to discuss about 10th Biology diagram based questions part 3. This video includes diagram based questions, experimental based questions, data analysis questions and their answers. So let us see first question. First question, what type of movement is shown in the diagram? It shows positive phototropism. Plant bending towards the source of sunlight. Next question. What is the reason for such kind of bending towards the direction of light? Auxins are responsible for that. Actually, shoot tip shows positive phototropism. That means growth of the plant towards the source of sunlight. Next question. What is the hormone responsible for this phenomena? Auxins are responsible for this phenomena. Auxins exhibit phototropism. Next question. Who did the first experiment on phototropism? Charles Darwin and his son Francis. They did first experiment on phototropism. Next question. What is apical dominance? The phenomenon of suppression of growth of lateral buds by apical bud is called apical dominance. I repeat, the phenomenon of suppression of growth of lateral buds by apical bud is called apical dominance. Next question. Write any two functions of auxins. Auxins promote root initiation. Auxins exhibit phototropism. Auxins exhibit geotropism. Auxins exhibit apical dominance. Here first question. What does the diagram depict? The diagram shows grafting. Second question. What do you call the lower part with roots? The lower part is called stalk. It is fixed in the soil. What is the name given to newly joined branch called? It is called scion or graft. It is grafted over stalk plant. Next question. What is the main purpose of using this method? Grafting is used to obtain a plant with desirable characters. Next question. Give two examples of grafting. Mango, citrus, apple, rose. Last question. Plants formed by this method are copies of their parents. Is it true? Why? No. It is wrong because the plant grown up is with mixed characters of both stalk and scion, so they are not the copies of their parents. Here, first question. What are these reproductive structures shown in the diagram? These are called sporangia. Next question. What do you call these leaves? These leaves are called sporophylls. So fern leaves with sporangia are called sporophylls. Next question. What are the asexual structures produced in this leaf? Leaves possess sporangium which contains spores. When sporangium is ruptured, spores are released and carried by air. So when they fall on the suitable substratum, they develop into new organism. Last question. Do you find any similarities between rhizopus and fern spores and sporangia? Yes. In either cases, that is spores in rhizopus and spores in fern sporangia, more number of spores are formed in sporangium. In both the cases, each nucleus divides many times, and around each nucleus a bit of cytoplasm is aggregated, leads to the formation of spores. In both the cases, when sporangium wall is ruptured, spores are released and dispersed by air onto the substratum. I repeat, we find similarities between Rhizopus and fern spores and sporangia. In either cases, more number of spores are formed in sporangium. In both the cases, each nucleus divides many times, and around each nucleus a bit of cytoplasm is aggregated and leads to the formation of spores. In both the cases, when sporangium wall is ruptured, spores are released and dispersed by air onto the substratum. Here, first question, what is the structure shown in the diagram? It is female reproductive system. Next, label any 4 parts in the diagram: ovary, oviducal funnel, fallopian tube, uterus, cervix and vagina. What are those almond shaped structures on either side of uterus called? They are called ovaries. Next question, what is the name given to the opening of uterus? The opening of uterus is cervix. Next question, what is the site for fertilization? Fallopian tube or oviduct is the site for fertilization. Last question, where implantation occurs? Implantation occurs in the uterus. Here, first question, what is depicted in the picture? The picture shows the structure of pollen grain and growth of pollen tube from pollen grain. Label the parts of the diagram: pollen grain, pollen tube. Pollen tube shows 2 cells, tube cell and generative cell. Tube cell is also called as vegetative cell, and the second one is generative cell. Third question, what is the function of pollen tube? Pollen tube carries male gametes through style and ovary and reach the female gametes through micropyle. Define pollination. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma is called pollination. Next question, how many cells are present in the pollen grain? A mature pollen grain consists of 2 cells. One is vegetative cell and second one is generative cell. Later, vegetative cell degenerates while the generative cell divides to form 2 sperm cells or male gametes. I repeat, a mature pollen grain consists of 2 cells. One is vegetative cell and second one is generative cell. Later, vegetative cell degenerates while the generative cell divides to form 2 sperm cells or male gametes. Here, first question, identify the structure shown in the diagram. It is the structure of embryo sac or female gametophyte. Next, label the parts of the diagram. Right from the bottom, egg cell, the middle one, then 2 synergids, then secondary nucleus which is formed by the combination of 2 polar nuclei, and on the top 3 antipodals: egg cell, synergids, secondary nucleus and 3 antipodals. Next question, which of these nuclei produces the zygote? Egg cell, when fused with the first male gamete, it leads to the formation of zygote. Next question, which nucleus produces the pen? Pen means primary endosperm nucleus. Here, secondary nucleus, when fused with the second male gamete, it leads to the formation of primary endosperm nucleus. Secondary nucleus, when fused with the second male gamete, it leads to the formation of primary endosperm nucleus. Next question, what are helper cells? Synergids are called helper cells They allow the two male gametes to fuse with two female gametes. That's why synergids are called helper cells. Next, how many cells and nuclei are present in embryo sac before fertilization? Before fertilization, each embryo sac or female gametophyte possess 7 cells and 8 nuclei condition. 7 cells, 8 nuclei condition. Here 7 cells are egg cell, 2 synergids, 1 secondary nucleus, 3 antipodals, totally 7 cells. But secondary nucleus is the combination of 2 polar nuclei, that's why it possesses 2 nuclei. So 7 cells, 1 extra here, total 8 nuclei are present. Next, what is double fertilization? The process of fusion of 2 male gametes and 2 female gametes is called double fertilization. Here, first male gamete fuses with egg cell, leads to the formation of zygote, and second male gamete fused with secondary nucleus leads to the formation of endosperms. So in most of in flowering plants, fertilization occurs 2 times. That's why flowering plants exhibit double fertilization. Last question, what is endosperm? Endosperm is the part of a seed which acts as a food store for the developing plant embryo. Here, first question, what is this red ribbon symbol indicate? Red ribbon, a symbol of AIDS Day designated on 1st December every year. Actually, this day is dedicated to raising awareness of the AIDS and spreading of HIV infection. Second question, write the full form of AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Third question, what is the name of the pathogen causing AIDS? AIDS is caused by HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. Next, what do you mean by RTI? RTI here is reproductive tract infections. These are the infections of the genital tract in both male and female. Last question, name any 2 bacterial STDs. Gonorrhea and syphilis are 2 bacterial STDs where gonorrhea is caused by a bacteria called Neisseria gonorrhoeae and syphilis is caused by Treponema pallidum. Syphilis is caused by Treponema pallidum. Here, first question, what did the 2 leaves experiment prove? It proved that apply of petroleum jelly protects the leaf from acid. It proves that apply of petroleum jelly protects the leaf from acid. It symbolically showing that stomach is protected from its own acids through mucosa lining. Second question, why the first leaf crippled and dried? Why not the second leaf? Acid directly acts on the first leaf and on second leaf petroleum jelly is applied, so it is protected. Third question, what did you conclude through this activity on leaves? Petroleum jelly acts as a protective layer. How stomach is protected from its own acids? Stomach is protected by its mucus lining from its own acids. Here, first question, what are the 3 stages shown in stomach peristalsis? First one, propulsion, second one, grinding, third one, retropulsion. Next question, what happens if the stomach is like a straight tube instead of a sac? Food will not be stored for a time period and food is not properly grinded and mixed with gastric juice. Next question. Name the sphincter present in the stomach, that is pyloric sphincter, which is present at the opening of stomach into duodenum, small intestine. Next question. Which sphincter regulates the movement of chyme into duodenum, that is pyloric sphincter. Next. What is chyme? Partially digested acidic food in the stomach is called chyme. Partially digested acidic food in the stomach is called chyme. Last question. Name the glands present in the stomach. What is the role of acid in the stomach? Gastric glands are present in the stomach. Gastric glands secrete gastric juice, which includes HCl. HCl kills microorganisms. HCl converts inactive pepsinogen into active pepsin. HCl also converts inactive prorenin into active renin. So here acid exhibit three functions. First, it kills microorganisms. Second, it converts inactive pepsinogen into active pepsin. Third, it converts inactive prorenin into active renin. Here, first question. What did you learn from the potato cycle tube activity? Peristaltic movement of bolus in esophagus. Second question. What lubrication is there in esophagus? Esophagus secretes a slippery substance called mucus. Next question. In which direction movement of bolus is occurring? That is downwards. That is into the stomach from food pipe. Next question. What is the type of movement you observe in potato cycle tube experiment? That is peristaltic movement. Next question. What happens if peristalsis occurs in reverse direction? Reverse peristalsis leads to vomiting. Last question. What is peristalsis? Contraction and relaxation of circular and longitudinal muscles bring a wave-like motion is called peristalsis. I repeat, the contraction and relaxation of circular and longitudinal muscles bring a wave-like motion is called peristalsis. Here first question. How many types of teeth are there? What are they? 4 types of teeth we have. They are incisors, canines, premolars and molars. Here incisors are broad and sharp, canines are sharp and pointed, premolars are bicuspid with 2 projections, molars are tricuspid with 3 projections, 3 cusp-like structures. Second question. What is the function of incisors? Incisors helps in cutting and biting. Incisors helps in cutting and biting. Next question. Which set of teeth help in grinding food? Both premolars and molars. Premolars and molars helps in grinding of food. Next question. Which set helps in tearing food? Canines helps in holding and tearing. Next. What is adult and child dental formula? Adult dental formula is 2123 by 2123. Total number of teeth is 32. Child dental formula is 2102 by 2102. Total number of teeth is 20. In the case of children, premolars are absent completely. Here, what controls the exit of stools from the body? Anal sphincter control the exit of stools. Next question. Do you think the control is voluntary? Why? Why not? Yes, it is voluntary in nature. Next. Did we have a sphincter in any other part of the digestive canal? Where was it? Yes, we have 2 more sphincters, pyloric sphincter and cardiac sphincter. Pyloric sphincter is present between stomach and duodenum, and cardiac sphincter is present between esophagus and stomach. Next, identify this part of large intestine. It is rectum, and rectum leads to anus. Sorry, identify this last part of large intestine. The last part of large intestine is rectum. It leads to anus. Last question, what is the function of rectum? Water gets reabsorbed and remaining wastes are stored in rectum, which are later expelled out through anus. So in rectum, water gets reabsorbed and remaining wastes are stored, which are later expelled through anus. Here first question, what is being tested in this experiment, or what is the aim of this experiment? To test the presence of starch in the leaves, or to show that starch is synthesized during photosynthesis. Second question, what are the materials required for this experiment? Beaker, test tube, burner, tripod stand, asbestos gauge, methylated spirit, leaf, iodine solution, petri dish. Next question, what are the changes that takes place in the leaf after boiling? Leaf becomes soft and pale. Next, what is the chemical used for testing the presence of starch? Iodine solution is used for testing the presence of starch. Last question here, how do you interpret the results at the end of the experiment? If leaf turns blue-black, the result is positive, that means starch is synthesized. If leaf turns brown or no color change, it is negative, that means starch is not synthesized. Now your first question, who conducted this experiment for the first time? Priestley conducted this experiment for first time. Oxygen was discovered by him in 1774, and later oxygen name was coined by Lavoisier in 1775. So Priestley discovered oxygen. Second question, what happened to the burning candle and a mouse in a closed bell jar? Candle is extinguished and mouse is dead because of suffocation. There is no oxygen, absence of oxygen. Third question, what was the observation when a candle, a mouse and a mint plant were placed inside a closed bell jar? Here, candle continued burning in the presence of mint plant. Mouse is survived. So Priestley hypothesized as plants restore air what breathing animals and burning candles remove. Here Priestley hypothesized as plants restore air what breathing animals and burning candles remove. So candles are utilizing oxygen and producing carbon dioxide. Mouse is utilizing oxygen and producing carbon dioxide, and the mint plant is absorbing that carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. Last question, what can be concluded from the above experiment? Above experiment confirms that gaseous exchange was going on and plants were giving out a gas that supported burning and was essential for the survival of animals. Here first question, name the diagram and label the parts. It is the structure of chloroplast. It is the diagram of chloroplast, and the labelings are two membranes, outer membrane and inner membrane, and the fluid like structure is called stroma, and granum. One structure in the granum is thylakoid membrane. Loop of DNA and starch grain and lipid globules are also observed in the diagram. Next question, explain the structure of this diagram. Chloroplast is a bimembranous cell organelle surrounded by two membranes. Here several thylakoid membranes are piled up to form granum. One granum, another granum connected together by stroma lamellae, and fluid filled portion is called stroma, and in the fluid filled portion we are able to see a loop of DNA, starch grains and lipid globules. Due to the presence of loop of DNA, chloroplast is semi-autonomous in nature. Third question, where are these organelles found? These organelles are found in plant cells cytoplasm. We are able to see chloroplast. Next question, what is the main function of this structure? It helps in synthesis of starch. Actually, it is the site of trapping solar energy and leads to the synthesis of glucose, which are joined together to form starch. Several glucose molecules which are synthesized in the chloroplast are polymerized together to form starch. Last question, where chlorophyll pigment is located? Chlorophyll pigment is located on the walls of thylakoid membrane or inside the walls of thylakoid membrane. Thank you for watching my videos. For more updates, please subscribe my channel Arvind Biology Classes or Arvind Educations. Thank you.